All right, Billy.
Yes, sir.
Billy, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
Well, I was born in New Jersey, Plainfield, New Jersey, but I was raised in South Florida, in the Tri-Counties, Palm Beach, Broward, Dade, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach area.
How would you describe your childhood?
Well, I'm 42 years old. I was born February 21st, 1979. I was born to two addicts and alcoholics, my mother Mary and my father Eugene. Um, I was actually born addicted. I was born on methadone. My mother was a heroin user, but she switched from heroin to methadone, and I guess it was a little bit safer that she did the methadone. So I came out to this world pretty much addicted. Childhood, it was always living with foster homes, family members. First off, my mother came from a family of 12 kids. She was the second oldest, and her childhood was pretty fucked up. She was physically, mentally, and sexually abused by her father, my grandfather, and he did that to pretty much all the kids. And since my mom being the oldest, she kind of tried to be the protector and would try to, she would usually get most of the abuse trying to look out for her younger siblings. But anyway, so that was pretty tough on her. So as we were growing up, she was manic depressive, and she was very, 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 very depressed. And so, of course, she went to drugs, and basically every 6 months, I was in a foster home or with the state or with a family member. And so as I started to get older, she would send us away, send me away. We'd come back, and then finally, when I turned 16, I was living in Florida, and my mother was living in Colorado, and she had asked if I wanted to come back home and live with her again, and I pretty much said, because I was always going to different schools, starting over, meeting new friends, and having to start over. And so finally, around when I was 16, I made friends, I had a girlfriend, and, I was, becoming a man, and my life was happening. And next thing I know, she ended up killing herself. She committed suicide. And
Sorry.
yeah, it happened. I've dealt with it. It's always going to be there, but I just try to tell myself that she's at peace now, and she's she was in hell here on earth, and she used to write a lot, and she would write stories about things that were really deep and true, and like really saddening things that had happened to her. And but I mean, she was a good mother, for what she was working with, and but I remember one night I was out helping a friend move, and we were out, at the time I was in West Palm Beach, and I was helping a friend move out in Okeechobee. We were way out, and this is before cell phones and stuff, and somehow I managed to get a call at the new place I was helping my friend move. But what was funny about it is I remember that night we were taking a break, and it was getting kind of late, and I remember looking outside, and I look up at the moon, and I'm thinking, I just felt something kind of weird, and I'm like, that's the same moon my mom's looking at, and I just had her on my mind, and so we went back into the house or whatever, and one of my friends was like, "Hey Billy, the phone's for you." "Phone's for you? The fuck's calling me over here? I'm helping somebody move." And so, anyways, I get on the phone, and it was one of my friends' girlfriends, and she was crying, and I just knew something was wrong, and I was like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "It's your mom." And I'm like, she's like, "She's dead." And it was just like the wind just got knocked out of me. It was just like me going from, foster care and this and that and stuff, but she was still my mom. We were still, still close for the time that I had when I could spend with her. And so anyways, she ended up committing suicide. She left a note for me and my sister. And it was pretty brief, and from there on, it was just, I really was in a confused state, and I started to, I quit going to school. My grades were never really that good anyways. I mean, I showed up at school. I actually went to a school it was called Gold Coast Corporate Academy. It was for bad kids. It was a dropout prevention school. And so I pretty much just stopped going. And I started getting into drugs at a very young age. Drinking here and there, and smoking pot. And then by 18, I was smoking crack and shooting heroin. And as time went on and my habit evolved, it got worse and worse. It was first smoking crack and sniffing heroin, and then it got to using needles. I was an intravenous drug user for 20 some odd years. And it was, I don't know if it was to help me comfort the pain, or if it was to, I don't know. I've tried to figure out, is it that I didn't want to feel, or was I trying to feel? I can't really figure it out. I've been to 1,000,001 fucking rehabs, and the longest sobriety I've ever had is about a year. It just evolved into the heroin wasn't working, and I couldn't shoot up anymore. I have no veins left, and I would shoot up at, you name it. It was from my feet, my legs, my groin, my face, my dick. I mean, you name it, I was shooting up in it. And it got to the point to where I couldn't shoot up anymore. And I would just have abscesses all over the place. So I was introduced to a new drug that hit the streets, which was like fentanyl. And I had started smoking fentanyl, and then I basically fell in love with it. And
What is the difference between fentanyl and heroin?
it's an opiate. It's just more. It's a lot more powerful. And it's like heroin is you can kind of like function on heroin, and like, I can only speak for me. You do heroin, you might nod out a little bit here and there, but fentanyl, it's more of it just kind of just like knocks you out, and it's really dangerous. But you get to the point to where it's like, it's like fuck it, if it kills me, it kills me, you know? Like, but that's just how, you know, like I'm not, you know, suicidal or anything. I have been. I mean, I've been there where it's like, fuck it, you know? But, you know, I just try to keep going and not give up and just hope that, you know, I'll find what I'm looking for sooner or later. And, you know, I've had successes here and there in my life, you know. It wasn't all bad, you know, like, you know, I got married. I have a kid. She was my baby's mama. She ended up being a Miami Dolphins cheerleader, which was, you know, which was pretty cool. But I never wished bad on her because she kind of, while we were together, I found out she was cheating on me with one of my best friends. And so we ended up splitting up, and usually there's like, you know, like deadbeat dads and shit. And I really tried to like be there. I really wanted to be a father. I was excited, and you know, I went through the whole pregnancy. I would always say that we were pregnant because we were, you know. Anything that, you know, anytime she ate. I was there through the whole thing, the whole 9 months having the kid and having the baby. I watched the whole thing. But she had found somebody else, and she was cheating on me, you know, prior to that. And for some reason, you know, she didn't want me involved. And so when we split up, she, you know, she ended up, you know, getting with some guy who owns like construction or whatever, and he's super duper rich, and I wasn't, and I didn't grow up with money. I was, you know, I was a welfare baby, but it instilled a lot of good work ethic for me, you know. I always hustled and grinded and always did whatever I could to make money, whether it was legal or illegal or whatever it took at the time, you know. And I traveled all through the States. I mean, I've been everywhere. I've been to I'm in California, but Florida, Mississippi, New Orleans, Jersey, New York, Colorado, Texas, here in Los Angeles, and you know, whatever I could do for money is usually whatever I would do. I try to do things that, you know, won't put me in prison, but when it comes to, you know, getting high sometimes, pretty much you don't think of the consequences, you know, and you just pretty much do whatever it takes just to get what you need, you know. And I've done it all from, I don't know how honest I can get on here, but I've taken it from
Be as honest as you like. I've heard it all.
Yeah, you know,
Literally.
I've robbed people, I've hurt people, there's a place in New Orleans. It's kind of funny. It's called the Corner Pocket, and I'm straight as they come. But I worked in a gay bar for a while, which was pretty interesting. I did that. I did whatever I could to, you know, to make money. You know, shameful or not, man. It was, you know, an addiction is an addiction, and I have a horrific, terrifying drug habit. You know, and I've done a lot of things that I regret, and
Sexual favors ever come into it?
yeah, of course, you know.
It's amazing how many men have done that, and it's interesting how many will admit it, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I got
Quite a few.
nothing to hide. You know what I mean? You said, you know, you wanted, you know, my story, and giving you my story, keeping it raw. You know, And I don't care what other people think or what other people say, you know, like it's when you're in that position and, you know, and you have an addiction problem and there's some things that you know, wouldn't, you know, you never thought you would do, you do, you know.
It's literally, you'll do anything to get that fixed, right?
Usually it's, you know, if that's like the last thing, I mean, you know, it hasn't been that bad lately, but there's been times where that's the only option that I've had, and you know, had to do what you had to do. But you know, I've been fortunate enough to have some hustles here and there to where I've been able to, you know, afford my drug habit. But you know, it's there's still never really enough. I mean, it's you know, the more it just progressive and keeps getting more, you know, more expensive and more expensive and more expensive. And
What brought you to LA?
I actually came out here. I actually came out here for rehab. I had a friend out in Florida that came out here because where I was living at in Florida, it was pretty much the sober capital of the world. It was Delray Beach, Florida, and I couldn't get clean out there. I couldn't, because that's where I grew up. You know, like I couldn't get clean. I couldn't get it together, and so a friend of mine came out to California, and he's like, you know, come out here, we'll get you clean, get you a scholarship. So I kind of got scholarshiped into a place, and I came out here, and I actually did pretty good. You know, I got a little bit of clean time, nothing too crazy. I got about a year, kind of got my shit together a little bit, and you know, made a little bit of money, opened up a little business, and I've had a couple of businesses. Like you know, like I said, I've had some successes and I've had some downfalls, but more downfalls than successes. But once you know, I'm usually anything that I want to do or accomplish, I'll anything I set my mind to, I can usually get it done. And just the drugs have always just kind of, you know, I always wonder what I could have been or what I could have had or what my life would have been like without, you know, using drugs.
Did you have dreams of doing something when you were young?
I'm an artist, so I always liked art. You know, I always wanted to do something that had to do with art. So I ended up opening up a tattoo shop a few years back, and actually I had two, one across the street from the other. It's kind of a funny story, but my first one was called Evil Inc. right here, and then the second one was called Ink Star, and like I got my little mascot for my Ink Star. But I was always into art, so that's pretty much where I went to, art and sales. I was always good with you know, selling with sales, and you know, no matter what it was. And I was always pretty good with art, and but I kind of lost my confidence with the tattooing and stuff, and I had a lot of the business end of it is you can't stay clean in a tattoo shop. That's for sure. And I ended up getting locked up right after we opened up one of our shops, and basically my partner stole all the money and just all the bullshit. So when I got out, I came to my shop, and it was all fucked up, and it was about to get shut down, and you know, a lot of bullshit. And
You've been in love? Have you been in love before?
Excuse me?
Have you been in love before?
Yes. I met a girl. Actually, one of the okay, when I came out here for the for rehab, right? I was able to help others, and I met this girl, and she reached out, and you know, she had told me her mother had just died, and I was able to kind of like, you know, understand what she was going through, and she was using drugs too, and you know, and she wanted to get help, and I was clean at the time, so I offered to pay for her plane ticket and help her get insurance, and flew her out here, and it was just, you know, all good intentions. You know, I just wanted to, you know, help her out, and so she came out, she got clean, she was clean for a couple of months, and she did good, and then I ended up relapsing, and I was trying to hide it from her, but it wasn't working. And then, so she ended up relapsing as well. And we started off when she first came out here. At the time, I was doing well. You know, I had a nice car, I had a place to stay. You know, I had money, and then all of a sudden, we were both out on the street together. And we were on the street together for about 6, almost 7 years now. And yeah, so we've been homeless for almost 7 years.
You're still together?
And we're still together, yeah. You know, I mean, our relationship isn't like it used to be, you know. It's, you know, you know, I feel like I have to protect her. Like, you know, like I feel like if I was to move on and go, you know, try to, you know, do something different or get clean or whatever, I'm afraid these streets would like eat her up, you know?
They would.
So you know, I'm madly in love with her, but it's not like it used to be. I almost feel like more her father than, you know, more of a dad than a boyfriend, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just, and I'm a lot older than her, so, but, and I just try to, you know, keep us safe. It's not easy living on the streets here of LA. It's pretty dangerous.
Are you guys on the streets in a tent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lived in tents. We lived in makeshift tents. You know, hotels here and there. But about a year ago, I suffered a really bad head injury. I got hit with a 2x4 in the head. Somebody was robbing me. And they hit me in the head. I lost the hearing in the left side of my ear. I can't hear out of this ear. I have like vertigo. My equilibrium's fucked up, so it's hard for me to like my balance. I had facial palsy where I lost all the feeling in the left side of my face because you have a nerve that runs along the base of your skull, which controls your facial functions, and that was damaged. So like my whole left side of my face was drooping. I couldn't blink. I couldn't eat. I can't hear. And I was bleeding profusely out of my ear, and I didn't realize what happened. I didn't know what happened until I kind of came to, and my girlfriend was standing over me, trying to like pull me up, crying, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" And she's like, "You just got hit in the head." I'm like, "I got hit in the head? What the fuck?" I didn't even really know what happened, you know. But anyways, so anyways, the ambulance came or whatever, and they asked if I wanted to go to the hospital, and I supposedly told them no. I don't really remember even talking to them. But I remember just sitting there on the ground and just like wondering what was going on. And finally, she helped me back over to our tent, and I just started puking and throwing up and throwing up and throwing up, and I guess that was from a concussion or whatever. And I was just bleeding like bad from the ear, and I thought it was actually my head. I thought I got hit, I thought it was a gush in my head, but it was I got hit so hard that it was hemorrhaging out of my ear. And so I have complications now due to that. I still haven't gone to the hospital like I should. I mean, I don't know what's going on with it, like I could have some serious problems with it, but I don't know why I'm afraid to go to the hospital. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to go, but like...
It's a rough existence down here, isn't it?
Yeah, man, I've been it's not easy being out here on the streets and, and having a pretty girlfriend and, and it's tough. And I feel like I fucked up. Like I should be the one that's, I'm the man. I shouldn't have her in this position. And I know the girl loves me to death because, she could be with anybody that she wants to be, any guy, she can have any guy she wants. She can be back with her family or whatever she wants, but she chooses to be here with me. And she says, I don't care if we live in a mansion or if we live in a box, as long as I'm with you. And, it's pretty cool, the girl loves me to death. And like,
that's rare here in Skid Row.
What's that?
That's rare here in Skid Row.
Yeah, it's a fucked up existence out here, And I've been in quite a few, rumbles and shit, and just trying to protect us, Been robbed a million times, been shot at, been hit with 2x4s, been hit with guns. I mean, you name it, It's a tough life out here. But I try to focus on like the positive things that I can do or that I have, I'm trying not to focus. I'm trying to be more positive. I'm not trying to focus on so much of the negative. I'm trying to focus more of the positive, and just every day that I'm alive, it's a good day,
What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Most important lesson I've learned, that really the only thing that matters is relationships and love, really. Like love is the most powerful energy there is in this universe, and time, is we don't have that much time. So like the most important thing I've learned is just to, stay close to the people that I love and let them know every day that I love them, because you never know what tomorrow is going to bring, and it's pretty much it. I've just, I just learned to try to make every day the best day and be the best person that I could be, and let the people in my life that I love, let them know every day that I love them, because you never know what's gonna happen tomorrow,
All right. Billy, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.